If you find yourself avoiding completing projects, not following through, suddenly getting too busy when you have a deadline, the real problem, the hidden block, may be fear of failure. Welcome to Success Tapping with Carol. Look, I'm your host and I'm glad you're here. Please feel free to subscribe, like, and share. So the behavior that presents itself is usually avoidance, usually getting too busy, making excuses, not following through, procrastinating. But the real problem, the real hidden block is this fear of failure. And what is fear of failure? It's afraid that when you complete the project at home or at work, you'll be seen as a failure, it won't go well, and more importantly, someone will criticize or judge you. So that's at the heart of fear of failure, that what if someone says something nasty? What if someone judges you, judges the project and says you're not good enough? So that's the real core that we need to tap on regarding this hidden block, fear of failure. So go ahead and imagine completing a project that you're delaying and stalling on and hearing someone criticize you, hearing someone judge you. That's what you're afraid of, which is what's causing you to delay, make excuses, avoid. So imagine that someone would actually say, that's not good enough. That didn't really meet the standards I was looking for. See if you can get a spike on that, because that means you're operating from this fear of failure, which is the hidden block, right? So here we go. See if you can get a number on that, and we'll start tapping. Even though I'm afraid they're going to judge and criticize me when I finish, I deeply and completely love and accept who I am. Even though I'm afraid they're going to judge and criticize me when I finish the project, I accept who I am and how I'm feeling. Good. Start on the eyebrow point. I'm afraid they'll criticize me and judge me. Side of the eye. What if they don't like my finished work? Under the eye. What if they think I'm a failure? Under the nose. What if it's not good enough? Chin point. What if they criticize me? Collarbone. What if they judge me? Under the arm. What if they see me as a failure? Top of the head. What if I see me as a failure? Good. Take a breath. Go back into that scene of someone criticizing you, judging you, seeing you as a failure, because that's what you're really trying to avoid. See if the number's any different. See if any aspects came up that might be different. We're going to tap one more time on that before we move to a belief. Side of the hand. Even though I still fear their criticism and judgment, that's why I don't complete this project. I deeply and completely love and accept myself anyway. Even though I'm very focused on their criticism and judgment, that makes me feel like a failure. I accept who I am and that I have these fears. Eyebrow point. I'm focused on their judgment and criticism. Side of the eye. I thought I was just avoiding and delaying. Under the eye. But I'm worried about what they're going to say. Under the nose. What if they judge me as a failure? Chin point. What if I judge me as a failure? Collarbone. No wonder I won't finish the job. Under the arm. I'm anticipating their criticism and judgment. Top of the head. And I'm worried because it means so much to me. Good. Take a breath. Measure again, imagining someone criticize you, judge you for the completed project, the finished project. What does that feel like now? Has it gone down at all? Has that fear gone down? Now, it may have brought up an old incident when you did finish something and someone called you a failure, thought you were a failure, you thought you failed, you measured yourself up against other people, and you fell short. So this may be triggering an old event that feels terrible to you. So I'd like to work on that as well. So if you have one, a time when you felt like a failure, because basically you wouldn't fear failure if you hadn't had an old event that reminded you of this. So think of one in the past where you produced something, personally, professionally, at school, and you felt like a failure. Imagine that now, and how does that feel in your system? How upset do you feel? Even it could have been decades ago. That's all right. How does that feel to you now? The time I felt like a failure. We're going to tap on that. See if you can get a number. I know it feels very uncomfortable. Here we go. Even though I remember feeling like a failure in my past, I deeply and completely love and accept myself. Again, even though I remember the time I felt like a failure in my past, I accept who I am and how I feel. Eyebrow. I remember when I felt like a failure. Side of the eye. It was humiliating. Under the eye. I remember when I felt like a failure. Under the nose. I was mortified. Chin point. I felt like a failure and I was embarrassed. Collarbone. I felt like a failure and I was embarrassed. Under the arm. I remember their criticism and their judgment. Top of the head. I'm pretty sure it's still in my nervous system. Good. Take a breath. How does that feel now? The time I felt like a failure? Anything different? Anything better about that? We'll go one more quick round for that. Eyebrow point. I remember feeling like a failure. Side of the eye. I can remember it immediately. Under the eye. No wonder I'm afraid of failure now. Under the nose. That incident was traumatizing. Chin point. I remember what happened. Collarbone. And it's in my nervous system. Under the arm. I remember feeling like a failure. Top of the head. And I felt so exposed. Good. Take a breath. It's important with this hidden block, fear of failure, to really talk about an old one. So if you found that useful, you might want to plug in another event, another incident where you felt like a failure, because that's where this is coming from. Okay? Measure again if you're able to. Feel any better? Is the intensity any lower? Any other aspects of it that you need to tap on? Now I'd like to work on a belief. When someone has had a failure that they perceived or someone judged them as being a failure, they often become convinced, and see if this is you, that they don't measure up. And they don't catch up with themselves. They don't put in any new data. They don't change this perception, this judgment of themselves. They think, I'll never measure up. They believe they'll never measure up. And it's a really important limiting belief to tap on with this hidden block. All right? So say out loud, I'm convinced I'll never measure up. 0 to 10, how true does that feel to you? And we'll tap on that. Even though I'm convinced that I'll never measure up, I didn't last time, I deeply and profoundly love and accept myself. Even though I'm convinced that I'll never measure up, I didn't last time, I accept who I am anyway. Eyebrow. I believe that I'll never measure up. Side of the eye. I didn't measure up last time, so why would I this time? Under the eye. No wonder I avoid getting things done. Under the nose. I'm convinced I'll never measure up. I'm convinced they'll call me a failure. Collarbone. No wonder I don't complete things. Under the arm. I'm convinced I'll never measure up. Top of the head. And I appreciate who I am anyway. Good. Take a breath. You may need more work on that limiting belief that you don't think you'll measure up. So we'll do one more quick round here. Go right to the eyebrow. That's just my belief. Side of the eye. I won't measure up again. Under. I didn't measure up last time. Under the nose. I'm so afraid of failing again. Chin point. I'm convinced I'm going to fail again. Collarbone. I'm convinced I don't measure up. Under the arm. I'm convinced I'll never measure up. Top of the head. So I'll probably fail again. Good. Take a breath. Measure your belief again. I'm convinced I'll never measure up. And let's end with a brief gratitude round before I ask you what your next yes is. All right? Eyebrow point. I appreciate who I am and how far I've come. Side of the eye. I'm grateful for all the lessons I've learned. Under the eye. I appreciate the healing I'm doing about that past event. Under the nose. I appreciate how much I know and how much I've learned. Chin point. I'm grateful for those past experiences and I'm resolving them. Collarbone. I love knowing I can resolve those old experiences. Under the arm. And I can release the fears and the beliefs. Top of the head. That are keeping me from putting my work out there. Good. Take a breath. Excellent. So you've got 3 tapping rounds for this hidden block. Please feel free to subscribe, like, or share this episode. Now, before we end, I'd like you to think of what could be your next yes. A small step towards a project, completing one portion of it, sharing your work with someone you trust, who might be able to give you even constructive criticism and you wouldn't feel like a failure. Maybe your next yes is going back to the fear and tapping on that every day for the next week. All right. Thanks for watching this hidden block, Fear of Failure. And if you'd like more about my work and my books and my coaching, please go to carollook.com/success.